Good morning. Hello, hello. Today's June 14th. This weekend is Father's Day, and I have a card for you that could work for Father's Day if you happen to have the stamp set or something like it. It's mostly about, oops, I have to clean my glasses, mostly about the stamp set today rather than an actual card design. So we'll wait for some people to hop on. I hope you have some great things planned for your weekend. Um, it's getting a little warmer here in Maryland. It's going to be hot, maybe not quite as humid, but it's going to be a hot one, close to 90, I think, or in the 90s. I don't know. At some point, you just don't look anymore. It is what it is. It's summer, right? I think I have that smudge off my glasses. All right. Very good. So if you're watching, say hello, hello, Betty. Chapel Hill. Nice to see you on again today, Betty. Hope you're having a nice day. And yeah, we're going to have some friends over this evening. We're going to go for a walk this afternoon and have some friends over for the evening. It's going to be pizza night. Just sit back and relax, have a cool drink or two, and just chill. It'll be good. What are your weekend plans? Anything special going on? Anybody have some fun things going on? Hello, Nadine. Yeah, I hope everybody has a wonderful Father's Day. Some nice plans. Like I had started to say before, people are hopping on. We'll take a few minutes for people to join in. We're going to use the Under the Moon stamp set today. It's a standalone stamp set, no dies, no designer paper to go with it. It's just going to give us some nice watercolor look to our cards. And it's going to be really, really easy to get some nice painterly looks with them. So I hope you enjoy what we're going to do today. And I thought that's good for masculine cards. Of course, it could be for anybody, but with Father's Day in mind, I'm kind of thinking along those routes there. And it's fairly new to me. So yesterday was the first time I actually started playing with it. And I was pleased. I was happy I got it. Just something different. It has those nice distinctive stamps, which means you have the shading right within the stamp itself. So you don't have to worry about doing too much shading unless you want to add a variety of colors, which is what we're going to be doing today. Okay, hello. Hello, everybody. Barbara and Patty and Betty's on No Special Plans because card making, that's pretty special to me. Pretty special, Betty. I wish I could just make my own personal retreat where I could just take a weekend, have nobody around me, and do whatever card making I want. And a little organizing too. Okay, there's been some, every once in a while you see these little joke things going around where, yeah, card making is a higher percentage of organizing and going through your stuff, and then a smaller percentage of actually making the card. So there's a lot of stuff that we like to do, but it's okay. It's okay. I would like to get my room in order, but that's going to take a while. Little bits at a time, though, right? Baby steps. And yeah, Elizabeth, a retreat as well. I know. Well, I want to retreat with my fellow stampers where we can just hang out and stamp. And I'm running through some ideas in my head for that for people who are fairly local, or there are hotels nearby if people want to spend the night. And, but I said, oh, I would just love a few days to myself. Just get my thoughts about me and get things organized and then start off on a fresh foot. But it's okay. All in good time. All in good time. Good morning, Joanne. Nice to see you on. Joan and Joanne. Right. And Shirley. Hello. Been waiting for notice. Notice for what, Shirley? Oh, are you talking about the stamp set? Oh, okay. Well, I'm noticing you, Shirley. But welcome. Thanks for joining on and saying hello. I can't see who's watching unless you leave a comment. Okay, say a quick little hello. So, when you're on. Oh, okay. So I guess did you finally get a notice, Shirley? Did you hit that little bell to give you a notification when I go on? Or did you just hop on because it was 10 o'clock? Okay, well, whatever. I'm almost always here 10 o'clock Friday morning. However, next week, it's my Cards for Troops week at the local coffee shop, Oka Mocha in Arbutus, Maryland. It's the next town over from me. And some of our ladies, Joanne has been there, comes and makes some cards that we send off in care packages for the troops. So next week is third Friday. So every third Friday, I'm not here live, to do a regular card with you, but sometimes I do pop on live just to show you what we're doing for the Cards for Troops. So you get a little peek at what's going on there. Okay. So, hey, Joanne, it would be nice if you were able to join us again. You came last week. I know it's a bit of a drive for you, but it's always nice to see you. Okay. Hi, Lisa. All righty. Notification doesn't always work. Oh, okay. Thanks, Joan, for that bit of information. I don't use it because my phone would be ringing and dinging and giving me notifications about so many things anyway. So I just kind of follow, certain things, certain people, and I hop on when I know they're on. So that's it. Yeah, the phone, too many bells and whistles. Just, I don't know. It's all good, but I just get a lot of emails, a lot of texts, a lot of notifications from other things. So, but anyway, thanks for that. It's helpful. Okay, if you subscribe to a lot, that will happen. Okay, well, yeah, I guess it has to prioritize, right, Lisa? It can't be, ringing you every 10 seconds about something new going on. So yeah, that makes sense. Thanks, Lisa, for that. Okay, so if you like, you can prioritize me. Just kidding. Please look out, look around for lots of ideas for other places, and then you can share with us as well. All right, so I see a lot of people on YouTube today. As far as YouTube is concerned, I can see your comments live, but once the live is over, I can't see the comments anymore. I can't go back and look at those comments, but I can see comments that you type in after the live is over. Like for any YouTube video, there's a place to put comments. So if you would like to add something or ask something after we stop, then that's the place to do that. All right. I do look at all the comments before I close out my software here so that I can try to get back to everybody, but I can't then respond back to you at that point. So if you have any important questions, email me or leave me a comment in the YouTube, or you can just go over to Facebook and do that too. Okay. All right, let me just scroll down, see if there's any other messages I'm missing. First time watching. Oh, hi, Linda. Welcome. Welcome. I really appreciate you mentioning that. Super. Okay. Let's get started, shall we? I have, like I said, the Under the Moon stamp set. It's kind of refreshing sometimes to just have a stamp set that you're not having to coordinate a lot of different products with. It's great to have designer paper that matches punches and die cuts and all the things, embellishments, ribbons, all that. And in a way, sometimes just give me a stamp set and then I'm going to play with it. And so that's what we have here. Under the Moon is on page 88 in the annual catalog. And you can see here that it is just $20. So that's a pretty nice investment. And you get the water, which can also be sky. If you flip it around, you have two different clouds. I like this one a lot because it looks, a lot of clouds that we have are sort of this shape here. This one's a little different. You have two different layers of clouds. And of course you have the shading in there. You have the moon, or maybe that's the earth. It could be either. Kind of looks like North America there, and so I don't know, whatever. Make it whatever you want. You have a sunset, excuse me, a couple of dolphins and sailboat. All right, so here is the card in the catalog that is featured, and look how it gives that nice little watercolor look. You can get a plain and simple card, stamps, ink, and paper, although here they use a die for one of the layers. Can be very clean and simple look, or you can add extra color and shading to it and get something new. And over here, they turned it into a night sky. So you have a day and a night sky. So I guess that's supposed to be the moon. And put the clouds down below with the moon above and then spritzed on some white craft ink there to get that nighttime sky. Isn't that pretty cool? And then sort of an ombre look from light to dark with the blues there. So anyway, I'm not doing nighttime today. I'm doing daytime. Excuse me, daytime. Got a little hiccup. All right. So simple. You can do this with so many different colors. I'm going to switch my screen over. A lot of different colors. Oh, thanks, Joan. Yeah, we're making lots of cards. Oh, you're for local VA. Good for you. That's great. And Joan's from Washington. Excellent. Excellent. All right, let me switch over my screens here. And we're just going to do what they call a SIP card, SIP, stamps, ink, paper. I'm not going to use any die cuts, no embellishments, no ribbons, nothing extra except stamps, ink, and paper. You'll see how pretty this card comes out. It's going to have a little bit of color in the layers, but it's going to be sort of a clean, simple look. So I'm starting off with my white card base. 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then I have 3 other layers. White we're going to stamp on. Misty Moonlight is going to be the next layer to give that white part a nice little border. And then we're going to mount that on Coastal Cabana as well. Now remember, you can always, because this is extra layers here, you can cut out something or punch something from in here. So I'm going to show you, because that's going to be covered up. I would not do it directly under a white because it might show through a little bit, and the white is a little bit thinner cardstock. So I will not punch out anything from this one here, but because this is covering and it's a 3rd layer, I'm just going to take a punch and make some little, you could take any die cut or punches, and I'm just going to make some little tags from that. Hold on, let me get a fun one here. Okay, this is the Labeled with Love. In the new catalog, you can get this as a bundle with the, I believe it's the same name, Labeled with Love stamp set. So stamp set and punch, you can get it at a 10% discount. Or, this is kind of interesting, you can get dies that have 3 of these on the dies. So you can, well, there are 3 dies in the set. So you can either bundle it with the punch, or you can bundle it with the dies. Now this month, if you bundle it with the dies, you get an additional 10% off. So remember that sale now through the end of June. All stamp set and dies bundles, not the punches, but the dies bundles are an additional 10% off. Okay, so I'm going to just punch a label from there. And then I'm going to do one sideways over here. Get the most out of it. I can get 3 this way. I only need a small little border. And then I'll do another one this way. Now I have 3 labels for another project. Waste not, want not, right? Put that aside. And that's going to be my layer underneath the Misty Moonlight. So that's Coastal Cabana. All right, now you're interested in measurements, I'm sure. So the card base, you know, the Coastal Cabana is, I'd have the metric up here, 5 by 3 3/4. 5 by 3 3/4. So I took it down, that extra 1/2 inch. Often we put our first layer so that there's a 1/4 inch all around. I wanted it more to have a more white look, more clean white look showing. So I took it down to the next level. So instead of 5 1/2 for the card, this is now 5, right? Do you know what I mean? So we took off a 1/2 inch so that we see a 1/4 inch all the way around. All right, so the next one though is just a 1/4 inch difference. So that's going to be 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. Just checking my measurements just to be sure. I don't want to say the wrong thing. 4 3/4 by 3.5. So that gives us just that little bit of border around there. Again, keeping a simple look to it, a simple border and a lot of white. Then the part that we're going to stamp on is 1/4 inch less than that. So of course now we're looking at 4.5 by 3.25. 4.5 tall by 3.25. All right, so this stamp set, you can use just about any blues on here, and you're going to get a great look. I've seen a lot of different combinations, and I'm going to try a few different ones. But let me just show you first how the stamps work. I'm going to, since that's Coastal Cabana, I'll try some Coastal Cabana here. I have the water stamp here. They are photopolymer so that you can see through when you're lining everything up. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like with just the Coastal Cabana before I add any additional shading to it. You'll see, because it's that distinctive stamp, you have that shading already built in within the Coastal Cabana palette. Look at that. Isn't that neat? So it goes from lighter on the top to darker on the bottom. And you even have a little bit of extra light right in the middle there, because when you do the sun, the bottom is flat, so you can put it right up against your water there as if it's starting to set behind the horizon. Okay, so that's, you keep this plain and simple like that. I'm going to show you how you can add just a little bit more color to that if you want to make it a little bit more interesting. And this is where you'll bring in some of your other colors. I'm going to bring in the Misty Moonlight, since that's already on the card here as well on one of the layers. And I'm going to get a sponge dauber. We haven't used those in a long time, have we? I have this old, this old stamp case where I used to buy these little, we used to call them incentive stamps, these little tiny stamps that had cute little pictures on them. Sometimes they had stamped by so-and-so, and they had these little channels in the stamp cases. So anybody who was a demonstrator or saw a demonstrator use them, you'll know what I'm talking about. But they fit my sponge daubers perfectly. And so a while ago, I labeled them before I had my label maker. I just wrote the names on them and taped them on so I know which color's which. You can even see some of the old colors I have here: cinnamon spice, terracotta tile, some older colors, just jade, mint macaron. Okay, so anyway, so there we go. I'm going to take, I don't think I have one for Misty Moonlight, but I'm going to take one. You know what? Looks like my Bermuda Bay was not used. So I'm just going to turn that one into Misty Moonlight. Put a label on later. All right. So what you will want to do is first ink up your lighter color. I'm going to bring this out. This is what I'm going to stamp on. And then with your sponge dauber, pick up some of your darker color. And then you can just dab it or daub it onto your stamp. I'm just doing the kind of the bottom and a little bit up the sides. And you'll see what a difference that makes. I'm going to do that right here on the bottom of my card. I'm going to leave a little bit of space down here. I'm going to go a little bit higher. Now, I know the stamp is wider than my card that I'm stamping on. That's okay. Look how pretty. Isn't that lovely? Makes you want to go to the beach, right? I love it. So much fun. And it's easy. It looks like you spent a lot of time doing some shading and whatnot, right? All right. So I am going to leave out my Misty Moonlights. I'm going to do some clouds with that. Might be a little dark for the clouds, but that's okay. I like the look of it. All right, I don't need my Coastal Cabana anymore. I'll put that away. Now we're going to go on to our sun. Let me clear this up. All right, so the sun, as you can see, has lighter shading down below here and a little bit darker on top there. So you can kind of make it two different colors, however you like. A lot of the times I see a little bit darker color down below. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use two different colors. I'm going to use Daffodil Delight and Pumpkin Pie. You can see these are my old stamp pads from the old design. They still flip, but they're a little bit thicker than the ones that we have now. But just goes to show you how well they still work. And I might add a little bit of Calypso Coral in there as well. So starting with your lighter color, you can ink up the entire, I'll close this up for now, the entire stamp, and then dab your darker color on top. So I did ink up my Daffodil Delight, and I just stamped it on a scrap, and you can see what it looks like, just Daffodil Delight. There's already this extra little dark speckly on top there. That's built into the stamp. Okay, so it gives nice shading there. It looks like, little bits of the clouds maybe passing over. So that's what that looks like with just the Daffodil Delight. I'm going to open these up. And, I wanted to just show you, because my pumpkin pie needed a little re-inking. Sometimes people are not sure how to add ink, so I just figure I'd just do that for you while I'm on here. Okay, you're going to open up your ink pad. The foam kind of holds the ink on top as you squeeze it on from your re-inker. And you want to just go back and forth a little bit. Remember, mostly in the middle, that's where we tend to stamp. So the middle is going to especially be dry. I'm going to put some little beads of the ink there. If you want, you can put a little on the sides. But as you can see, two things. It sits a little bit on top, but also you see those lines where I went over with the re-inker, right? Oh, there we go. If you stamp on that, you don't want to see those lines. So you want to blend it in a little bit. So keep a little plastic spoon, or some people use an old gift card or credit card, and you're going to want to just rub it in a little bit. For one thing, to soften those lines, to smooth it out, and also to make sure it gets absorbed into the foam. So you can see now it's not quite as streaky, right? So just little circular motions. And now you can see it's a lot better, right? And then, of course, clean that off with a wipe of some kind. I keep like baby wipes or water wipes, they're called, nearby for this kind of job. And this little handy dandy, little cheapy ice cream spoon or whatever is right there. All right, so now let's ink up our Daffodil Delight onto the sun. And I'm going to take my pumpkin pie dauber, and I'm going to dab a little bit. Let me test it out on my paper. I'll just go a little bit behind here just to see. Okay, so that's pretty dark. I'm just going to get a little bit off, because remember, you can always add, but then you can't take it off. Now, it might be a little hard to see, especially because the stamp is already stained a little bit from the last time I did this. It doesn't hurt the stamp, but it will, the darker colors will stain, like the red, oranges, and whatnot. Okay. All right, so I can see a little bit in there, the variation in the color. And this is all kind of trial and error because I can't see exactly how this is going to come out until I actually stamp it. I'm going to go with Calypso Coral now. I'm going to put a little bit in between there to kind of bridge the gap between the two colors. Just a little bit to bring in that third color. Again, this is going to be a little hard to see, but I think it will soften the look. So let's see what happens. Now, because some of this ink is starting to dry a little bit, it is water-based, so it will get activated again with huffing on it. When you go, you have a moist breath, and that little bit of moisture in your breath will reactivate the ink. And then you can just match up the lines. And okay, so that bottom part did come out a little bit light, but it looks kind of pretty. Right? It does. So I have two options. I can try to go darker with it, or I can even just take my daubers and make sure they're not too dark. Get some of that ink off. And I could just dab a little bit more onto there. Add a little bit more color if I like. And also what I might want to do is just add a little bit down here as reflection in the water. Okay, so that's fun. So next time, like I said, I'm still getting used to the stamp a little bit, so I could go a little heavier with the bottom color. Let me bring in a little bit Calypso Coral. Don't want too much on there. Like I said, just start light. I can add a little coral down there as well. All right, is that pretty? Let me close up my ink pads here. Hi, Katie from Mexico. Wow. What a beautiful country. We were there for the incentive trip, and oh, we just love it. That was my first time there. And Tina's Western Maryland. Yep. Yeah, one day I'll get out there, Tina. Okay, I know you're not too far from Deep Creek, right? You're not too far from there. But I don't go there a lot. Been there a couple times, but it's so pretty out there. Maryland has a lot of different types of places to visit. A lot of farmland in the middle. Toward the west, it gets a little bit more hilly, more lakes and hills, and of course, you have the coast. So a lot of different ways to enjoy Maryland. All right, now we want to add a little bit of the clouds. I guess I put them back in here, and I'm going to take that one there because it's like three separate clouds, not your stereotypical cloud with the one or two humps. Although I like those, it's okay. We've had some gorgeous clouds against beautiful blue skies lately. Oh my gosh, it's just been lovely, lovely, lovely. Put this one back. Okay, I'll be trying another one of those. So, all right. I'm going to use the, actually, you know what? I did do Misty Moonlight for the clouds on my sample card. Why don't I try something a little different? I'm going to try a little Balmy Blue. Let's see what that looks like with the clouds. I like to experiment with you guys. That way you can see, yep, sometimes mistakes happen even with me, or sometimes things work out well. Whatever. You see my thought process. Anyway, I'm taking a piece of scrap paper. This was the Coastal Cabana with the water. And I'm just going to take some scrap paper and see what this looks like before I put it on my actual card. And so that would come on there. How would that look with the other colors? I can always stamp off and then do it even lighter. So it's good to practice on your scrap papers. So that could be on there. I don't like so many blues, but let me see what happens if I stamp off first. Again, I'll grab some scrap. Yeah. Can you guess what I cut out of that? See if you know what that's from. The mystery scrap. That's what we'll call this game. I'm going to stamp off first. And I'm going to stamp again and see what that looks like. Oops. Okay, so I've lost some of the color in the middle there. And that could work, but you know what? I'm just going to go with my first thought. I'm going to keep to the Misty Moonlight. Otherwise, I think too many color palettes, too many blues mixed in there. I like to keep things along the same lines anyway. Okay, hi Lynn. Nice to see you on there. One of my daisy bunches. And Lydia made it on too. Oh, good. A lot of my Maryland girls. Okay. I will show you what it looks like. Here's my scrap. By the way, this is a hammerhead shark from the Friendly Fins set. I made my grandson a card that had the shark on it. He just got promoted from kindergarten. Big step. All right, so this is a Misty Moonlight. I'm going to stamp it once and then stamp it again. We'll see. You can see the difference there. See how much darker that is? Now, my first one I did do dark, so I'm going to try it on this card by stamping off a little bit. This isn't going to matter where I stamp off, but I will put this up here. Right, pretty, right? Woo, love it. All right, and then we can either put a sailboat or dolphins. I did dolphins on my sample card, so I'll do a sailboat on this one, just to mix it up a little bit. All right, here's my sailboat. And let me, again, test out if I need to go darker than Misty Moonlight on here. I might need to use Night of Navy. Let's see how it comes out with Misty Moonlight. Oh, well, I'd say that's pretty dark. It is going to lighten up a little bit, but I think that's going to be fine. I'm going to put that over here on the side. Wouldn't it be nice to be just sailing off into the sunset? Nice graduation cards or retirement cards too. Right, as you start a new journey in your life. It's good. That time of year, right? Especially any school teachers retiring would be now. My friend Karen is retiring. I'm so excited for her. Congratulations, Karen, if you're watching. Not Karen White, a different Karen. She's working today, I'm sure, but she may watch the replay. All right, now we're going to put a sentiment on, and there are lots of ways you can go with this, of course. I do love this Sweetly Scripted. You have happy anniversary, congratulations, birthday, million thanks, speedy recovery, and save the date. So maybe I'll do congratulations on that one. I did happy birthday on the other one. So congratulations. Where is it? Here we go. Yep, will that fit on there? Ooh, it's a little tight. I'm not doing congratulations. Never mind. Happy birthday did fit better. I'm not doing save the date. That's not going to work for this card here. And speedy recovery. Nah. All right. So because this is too narrow for those, I'm going to change to this one here. Hoping you have the best day ever. That's from the Country Birdhouse. And that can certainly be a good day, right? If you're sailing. Especially if someone else is doing the work for you. I'm just sitting back having a cocktail. That would be lovely. All righty. Who said they made? Oh, Debbie made it. Good. All right, that just fits on there. So it's all good. Oops. These photopolymers are hard to find if you lose them. So put them right back in your case. You have two different dolphin sets, by the way, stamps. These two are on one, and that one is independent. So you can make them jump any direction, wherever you want them to go. Well, maybe not direction, but you can place them. Make them high, make them going, dipping down, jumping up, whatever. All right. Boy, that Misty Moonlight came out really dark, didn't it? It's okay. I like it. It will lighten up a little bit. All right, I'm going to do my sentiment in black, just so it shows up more contrast against the darker blues down there. All right, now this is the first time I'm using this stamp. So I'm going to, I've told you sometimes when it's new, it might have some oils on it from the processing of the stamp. Oh, excuse me. So I'm going to stamp off. Now look what happened here. See? I'm going to try to hold it still for the camera to focus. Right? It's almost like there's little dots in there, you know, like how water and oil don't mix. Okay, it kind of separates a little bit. So that's what's happening on your stamp. There's little oils on there from when they go through the machine and get cut and whatever. So clean it off a couple times, stamp, clean it off again. Eventually those oils kind of work off. And then you'll get a cleaner image, especially with these very thin images or thin words. Okay, last thing I want to do is to mess this up after I've done all that work. Of course, we can cut it, we can cover it. That would be okay too. We'll find a way to make it work, right? All right. I hope this goes well. I don't like it with H's. All right, let's see how it goes. Hope you have the best day ever. I don't like the R. All right, that's better. Getting picky. Okay, not too bad. All right, so there we go. And then let's mount it. Of course, this card goes a lot quicker when I'm not talking and explaining everything. Let's put our layers on. Make sure my hands are clean. Do you ever end up with totally clean hands? Maybe if you don't have inky fingers, you're not doing something right. I don't know. Am I running low on my glue? When I have friends stamp or when I do card for troops, I like my attendees to have nice full glue whenever possible. So guess who gets to use the leftovers? That's okay. I'm always shaking it down. Okay, I am just going to put glue around the edge here because I don't want to get glue on my work table here. And when I glue it onto my card base, I can put glue in the middle. All right, very thin. If you're going around the edges, keep a very thin bead of glue. The way to do that is barely squeeze it and move it quickly so it stays thin. Okay, let me put that on my white base. There's a smudge there, but it's going to get covered. That's not a problem. Stamps, ink, and paper. Except for the punch there, but that nobody sees, but that doesn't count to make the card. You can do it without that, right? a nice summery theme. Okay, Tina, all right, I'll let you know when I'm nearby. Like I said, I've only been there twice, but it's beautiful. We've gone in the fall, in November, actually, just before Thanksgiving. And it was nice. Just nice weekend to get away with the family. Rent a nice big house overlooking the lake. Very nice. I will definitely let you know if I'm out that way, and you do the same if you're out this way, okay? All right. I managed to get inks on my fingers. Yeah. Okay. Well, it happened, Shirley, right? Thinner blocks. Oh, yeah, that would do it. When you're trying to ink up and your fingers are close to the ink pad, yeah, that can do it. So isn't that lovely? That came out really nice. So let me compare it to the card that I made. Remember, we had slight differences here. I did the dolphins instead of the sailboat. I made the clouds a little bit lighter by stamping off. I did not do the reflection in the water on this one, but I did it over here. And of course, I did Happy Birthday. The water, I just left Coastal Cabana because I said, let me just try to make this as simple as possible. And then this one I inked up a little bit more. This one I did not use the coral in between. I just did, actually, this one I did coral and Daffodil Delight. This one I did pumpkin pie and then coral and Daffodil Delight. So subtle differences, but you can see they both make like really lovely cards. And if you're not stopping to explain everything, it does go quicker. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying this card, like I've been working on it for like half an hour, but it doesn't have to take half an hour. Let me show you another little version, some other ideas here. I'm going to put this back. Don't you hate when this happened the other day? I had a sentiment from a stamp set that I wasn't using for anything else except that sentiment. And I put the stamp set away before putting the stamp away. It was on a block. And then I had to hunt down, all right, where did this one come from? Because with a lot of new stamps, I don't have them all memorized yet. Anyway, okay, there we go. Here's another quick layout that you can do that is, we're going to do more of a Z fold. And I'm just going to show you how quick this can be without too much chit chat. All right. I'm going to try a little bit different colors. We're going to do, instead of the coral, we're going to do, I'm trying to figure out what I used on here. Okay. Try some blueberry bushel. Trying to figure out what I did. I don't know. Okay, we're gonna wing it. Keep your fingers crossed. Here we go. Let's try a little Misty Moonlight and a little blueberry bushel. See what happens. Okay, so the blueberry bushel is a little brighter, kind of darker in a way, a deeper color. This is a little bit more grayish, purpley-ish. So maybe I'll do this one first. That's interesting. I can't remember. Must have been late last night. It was late when I was doing this one. It was after my team meeting, which we had a great time. Got to meet some new people. Okay, what do you do when the stamp is no longer sticks to the block for stamping? If it's the photopolymer, Lydia, it means that you've gotten too many of your finger oils on the back. Or sometimes when you put them down, it's picking up little dusty fibers from your paper if you place them down like this. So I try not to put them down on the paper too much, but a little Dawn dish soap or whatever brand you like to use, just little light soapy water, clean them off and let them dry. If it's the rubber with the decals on them, okay, you can just wipe those clean as well. Now, some of the older stamps that they called clear stamps. They weren't really clear like the photopolymer, but those weren't terribly sticky. The ones that are rubber now are called cling stamps. So think cling, they do cling well. So those are good. And those also could get your finger oils or paper fibers on them, or just dust from take them on and off and touching them too much. So same thing, you can just just clean those very lightly and get that little residue off. We're going to put this one horizontally, and this piece, by the way, is 4 inches wide by 3 1/4 tall. 4 by 3 1/4. And we are going to then take some blueberry bushel, add a little shading here. I do have this dauber with the blueberry bushel name on it is actually when blueberry bushel first came out, and now it's returned. That's kind of neat. I'm going to put a little bit here, even if it's not that much different. Just bring in that little extra hint of color. Can be nice. All right, let's see what happens. See what it looks like. Okay, I think a little more grayish than I was hoping for. But that's okay. You know what? I'm going to take a little risk here, and I'm going to take a little more blueberry bushel and do a little extra down here. And I'm going to try to stamp right over that. If it doesn't work, I can flip the paper, right? And do it again. I want a little brighter, perhaps. All right, let's see. If it's not perfect, it might still be okay because we do have that, smeary look there. So I think that came out a little bit better. You can do this with many combinations of blues, greens, maybe depending on which ocean you're looking at, right? Caribbean or Pacific, whatever. Okay, let's look at the sun. Mr. Sun, Mr. Golden Sun, please shine down on me. Good old Raffy song. Okay, I did clean that off before I did my. I cleaned off the oranges. So I'm going to do, again, I'm going to go heavier with the pumpkin pie this time. All right. Because I want that much darker. See, trial and error, you learn. I can see it's a lot darker now. Okay, and I do like the transition, having that little bit of the coral in there. It's a little pink, more pinkish orange. Chips of coral. Okay. Now, one thing you don't want to do is put your dauber back on a lighter color after you've tapped onto the darker. So pumpkin pie is a little darker than the coral. So because I went on here and I probably caught some pumpkin pie on there, I'm not going to go back on the coral until I maybe, just rub it off a little bit. And then I can go back to that more confidently. Huff on it. And this is going to be a richer, darker sunset, I can see. Oh, see, I was a little nervous and I didn't get quite as much as I wanted the first time. Again, you know what? Let's try this even more. Oh, you know what? It's my dauber. I think it's a little old. It's getting those little specks in there. I think that's it. Okay, so there we go. Lesson learned on that, guys. One thing that we can do also, and I did this the first time because I was in a rush, I took my pad kind of directly to the stamp, went on there, but what you want to do then is to soften the lines. You don't want to see straight edges on your sun. And then you can take your dauber and kind of soften it up a little. Let's see if I can get right over it. Hold your breath. Hold your breath. See, boy, I'm taking risks today, boy. All right, I'm going to smooth it over a little bit. Oh, darn. Too much. I didn't dab off. Ooh. I guess I'm just going to have to go a little darker. Okay, I'm going to put just a little bit down here. All right, there we go. And this one I'm going to stamp in the corner. Happy Father's Day from the Adventurous Sky stamp set. Here it is. Has a happiest Father's Day. Put that on there. We'll put some dolphins on and we'll be good to go. That's to lift me up. Here's the Father's Day. I'll do that in black. All right, now here's the other thing, guys. Always test your rubber mounted stamps because sometimes the decals go on slightly crooked compared to the stamp because we're putting them on ourselves, right? So, and sometimes it's a little crooked. So I always test it first on my grid paper to see if I'm lining it up. Now, when I was playing around with this one the other night, I noticed when it looked straight on the front, I'm going to show you here, it's actually a little crooked. It's more low on the right-hand side. So I'm going to practice stamping by raising up the right-hand side more than I think it should be. And then that looks better there. So I'm going to have to try to get that straight over here. Okay, so there we go. Happy Father's Day. We'll put a couple of dolphins in there. Smoky slate. Now the dolphins sort of have that watercolory look also. So if you want them darker, there are two ways you can do that. You can stamp right over them again, like I tried with my son and my water. Or you can take a marker to your smoky slate marker to color them in a little bit more. When I did mine, I actually stamped over it a couple times. I'm going to put this down here. And you'll see what I mean. It has sort of that that brush look. You can see through them, right? Which I really didn't care too much for. But this was pretty easy to stamp over again because you have, it's dark ink and you have nice sharp edges to line up. Okay, so see, that's much better. Okay, so we got that. And we're just going to put that on a kind of a Z-fold card. And this one is going to use some embossing folders. Like I said, it's going to be horizontal. So I have an 11 by 4 1/4. Sorry, 11 by 4 1/4 card. I've scored it in half at 5 1/2. And score this again in half. So that's 2 3/4. So that's your front. You're going to fold it in half. Crease it with the bone folder. You're going to fold the front part backwards. Give that a good crease. You need a white piece to go on the inside. That one is your typical layer size, 5 1/4 by 4. Gives you plenty of room to write. Actually, you're going to want to write more on the left-hand side than the right-hand side. Okay. And then we need a layer for this. So remember, this was, I'll repeat that, 4 by 3 1/4. 4 by 3 1/4. I put the measurements on the post later. Okay, so the next one is just a 1/4 inch more. So 4 1/4 by 3 1/2. So that's going to give us that little bit of border there. Doesn't that look nice? So nice and rich, right? Even with my little goofs there. Put that on there. All right. So if you want, you can just have a more simple card that looks like this. You could put some designer paper on the back here, or you can emboss some paper and put that there too. I saw one that used Country Woods paper. Let me show you what that looks like. Now that piece you will want to be that panel 2 1/2 by 4. So let me cut one and show you what that looks like. I like to show you options. I do like this rustic look. I wanted to try, like I said, I like to try different options. Okay, 2 1/2 by 4. Going to give us that panel. You can glue that right onto there. And then this can go across there. I would put dimensionals on there. And that looks really nice, doesn't it? I do love the look of that. So when you do write, you want to make sure your writing stays underneath the front part there. The other option that you can do is I took Balmy Blue and I ran it through the swirl, so swirly embossing folder. It kind of reminds me of water. It could look like water. It could look like coffee. It could look like, I used it on the Adventurous Sky, one of those cards, to make it look like air swirling around. So that can go there as a panel. And then you'll have that look. Very different looks, right? This one's a little brighter, maybe a little more, adds a little more whimsy maybe to that. And then this one with the wood has a little bit more sophisticated look, perhaps. Which one do you like better? Okay. Oh, hi, Georgia from Arizona. Nice to have you on. Okay, Katie, we'll catch you another time, all right? I hope you like the ideas. Great. Okay, take care. So, I don't know, it could go either way. And of course, when you open it up, it's going to look like this. And now you also have the option of putting an additional panel here. So I did 2 of those just to show you what that would look like. So when it opens, that would be backed both ways there. Of course, you could do that with the designer paper too. So there you go. Which one do you like better? Nadine likes the wood. Patty likes the wood. Okay, Tanya, I'm glad you like it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'll do one up with both, but for now, since I got 2 wood votes, I'll do the wood. And I only cut one of these for now, but I can cut another one later and you'll see. So let's put some dimensionals on here, just on the left-hand side, because we don't want it sticking here, because we want to get that fold. All right. So left. Oops. Oops. Left side. 1, 2. Boy, I really made a mess of myself today. You know what? I'm just going to bring that in a little bit. All right, I know not to go past here. What the heck? One more. Okay, I like to do this closed. You could do it either way, but this way I know I'm centering on the front of the card. One thing about even the dimensional dots, you can pick them up a little bit before they stick too tightly. Okay, really pretty, right? Here's one I did with similar. Again, every time you do this, it's going to have slightly different colors. And I did that with the sailboat. Sailboat was in black. And then here were our other 2 cards. I'll clear some space here. I have some cleanup to do. All right. All right, so there we go. Hold that down like that. And those are our cards. You can, of course, possibilities are endless. Azure Afternoon is another color that a lot of people have been using for their background or the water. You can, I saw one card that used this so swirly on the whole front panel and then stamped the image and then took deckled circle dies and I'll pretend that's not there, but you can then die cut out your circle, mount it on a darker circle, mount it on white. Now choose different layers of your circles, and that looks kind of cool on a card as well. Do I have another layer here? Yeah, I do. Okay, so basically doing, well, if you cover this up too much, you're not going to have a contrast. But anyway, so you could do this in the white, this in the blue, and the same color, the azure, and then a bigger one, a little bit bigger for a white border against this. And that looks really pretty too. Kind of like makes it look like a porthole that you're looking out into the ocean. All right, I'm ready to cruise. Anybody with me? Raise your hand. Show me thumbs up. Who's coming? I know there's some demonstrators that actually run Stampy cruises. All right, you book the cruise and they book a room and bring all these projects for you to do. That sounds cool too, right? A little bit too much organization for me. I couldn't do that right now. But anyway, I hope you have a great day. Happy Father's Day to the fathers in your family and your life. And have fun. Try some of these. The other ones, there have been a few stamp sets like this that have that watercolory look, like the Tuscan one that we had recently in the other catalog. Could be fun to do. Stamps, ink, and paper mostly, right? That's all we used. So enjoy. Don't have to make it complicated. Keep it simple and have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks for joining on. Right? Nice to see you all. Oh, hello, Lay. Nice to see you there too. All right. See you next. Oh, no. I'll see you next week as I give you just a little live glimpse at the Cards for Troops. But I will see if I can arrange a different time for Coffee and a Card. I am going to have company that weekend, so we might not be able to get that in. But keep posted to my Facebook page. I'll be putting cards up there for your inspiration. All right. If you haven't signed up for my mailing list, please do so. And you can go to, I'll put the banner up, stampwithlorraine.com, and you can then click the sidebar to sign up for my mailing list, and I will keep you posted of specials and give you some little inspiration once in a while there too. And if you would like to shop with me this month, get that extra 10% off the dies and stamp bundles. Here's the June host code. Use this on orders under $150 because once you reach $150 in your order, then you will earn some host rewards beginning at 10%. So don't leave your order at like $148. Bump it up to $150, and then you're going to get with like $150. You get $15 worth of product. So that will buy you 2/3 of the stamp set, right? So keep that in mind, please. I don't like to see people missing out on those opportunities. If you have any questions, give me a call, give me an email, reach out on Facebook, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.